Hello and welcome to the One Stop Co-op Shop, your one stop for co-op news, reviews, and playthroughs. I'm Peter, and today I'm playing through Marvel Champions. That's right, not just one playthrough, but two playthroughs. We're playing through Deadpool, and we're going to play through X-23 back-to-back. Don't worry, there'll be timestamps if you only want to see one of them. And at the end, I'm going to discuss both heroes. You're also going to get to see two new campaign missions. That's right, we're playing the second and the third mission from the Next Evolution campaign. But without further ado, let's get down to the table and play some Deadpool. So I just wanted to say a few disclaimers before we get into this playthrough. Number one is Fantasy Flight did send us a copy of this, so this is a review copy of the game. I am playing on Tabletop Simulator though, just because I think it is much easier to view the cards. I can zoom in, make them big, and that way it's much easier and clearer to see everything. So that's why I prefer to do my playthroughs on Tabletop Simulator. With that out of the way, let's talk about Deadpool. So Deadpool has an 8 recovery on a 9 health, 6 hand size, and breaking the fourth wall action. Discard the any card from your hand to search your deck for a Deadpool event and add it to your hand, limit once per round. And there is an event I love to use this on. That's maximum effort. Again, take any amount of damage up to your remaining hit points. That means you can kill yourself, by the way, and deal an equal amount of damage to the enemy. That is a free event or a zero cost event. You still have to pay the card itself. But really fun event that I like to pull out to do just massive amounts of damage. If you can get more hit points, it'll do even more damage, obviously. Over here, the reason you can take damage till you die is the Regeneration Degenerate. Force Interrupt. When you would be defeated, instead set your hit point dial to 1, change to alter ego form, and add an acceleration token to the main scheme. So that's very key. Also, you're going to be adding acceleration tokens. All right, so montage generates one additional, so it's a wild resource. It generates one additional wild resource for each acceleration token on the main scheme. Cable gets +1 attack and thwart for each acceleration token on the main scheme. And with exhausting personality, you can place an acceleration token on the main scheme and stun and confuse the villain. Or you could exhaust the player's identity and draw a card for each acceleration token on the main scheme. So as you can see, Deadpool's playing around with acceleration tokens. If you like somebody like Star-Lord, very similar push your luck type of mechanic. But let's talk about the thing that's really special about Deadpool, and he comes with this entirely new aspect called the pool aspect. That's right, we not only have the major 4, but now we have a 5th aspect called the pool aspect. And so not only does he come with his pre-con cards, but there's also other pool cards in the set as well. But let's talk about some things that make this pool aspect a little bit unique. Well, number one is they take cards that have already been in the game, like Get Ready, and they change them up a little bit. So this is called Get Ragey. Action, ready an ally. That ally gets +1 attack till the end of the phase. And they even kind of highlight what's new there. We have a new healing factor. Max 1 per player. After a player's phase begins, exhaust it to heal 2 damage from your identity. Everybody gets Wolverine's regeneration. That's kind of neat. But this pool aspect also, you'll notice, messes with icons over here. The villain icon specifically. So as a hero action, if the following icons are on one or more cards in play, you get to deal damage, remove threat, ready an ally you control, draw cards. So depending on what the enemy gets, you get more. So again, forcing you to push your luck a little bit. So you notice on your allies, they don't take consequential damage at all, but they're going to have one of those icons to make it a little bit worse. And then even on your defensive cards, Hero Interrupt, again, based on the number of icons in play, you're preventing that much damage. Deadpool and the pool aspect really want you to push your luck a little bit and see how far you will push it and see if you can still win anyway. All right, but now let's talk about the villain a little bit that we're going to play in this scenario. It's the second scenario in the campaign, and it's called On the Run. And so part 1 of this is Gotta Get Away. So Arclight is the marauder who has captured Hope, and this is Hope's captor over here. She's confident and she'll be running away, but you're going to start with another marauder in play, so you get to pick this marauder. This one was a random one, which does make this scenario replayable. There are 7 marauders. You pick a random one to face and face off against that. This time we're going against Arclight. Each marauder minion gains steady, and in expert mode, the villain would also gain steady. But we're not playing expert mode, we're just doing standard. When revealed, each player searches the encounter deck for a marauder minion, puts it into play. We already did that. We picked Riptide to come into play because he adds threat, and I'm hoping to defeat him turn 1 and just you don't want that out when there's a lot of side schemes, things like that. So hoping to get him out of the way. Plus, it's only a 4th health minion, so trying to get that out of the way as well. Arclight, when she attacks you, she either confuses you or gets +2 attack. This is an important part. So this is permanent. When the Marauder villain would attack you, if a Marauder minion is engaged with you, they're going to scheme instead. So trying to get through this scheme as fast as possible. So that's why you don't want to keep these Marauder minions sitting in front of you. Force interrupt, when the villain would be defeated, reset the attached villain's hit points to its printed hit point value instead and flip this card. So you are going to face this villain again. You're going through twice against the same villain. But let's go ahead and draw our cards and see what we get. So Deadpool's Katana, it's a restricted item. Exhaust the Katana, take a damage to deal 2 damage to an enemy, and it's piercing. We got Yoo-hoo! It's a thwart event. Take any amount of damage up to your remaining hit points and remove that amount of thwart from the scheme. We got actually 2 of those. Oh my gosh. Pool's Inspection, or Pool Inspection. Max 1 per deck. Hero Action Thwart. Remove 5 threat from the main scheme, ignoring crisis icons. Remove a threat from each other scheme that for each icon in play. Oh my gosh. 6 cost though. Maximum effort. This is the one that does a ton of damage. Oh, and Live Dangerously. It's a 0 victory point card. Cost 0 to put into play because it gives literally every icon to the enemy, but you do get +2 to your hand size. That's a little too dangerously for me. So I'm actually gonna, I think if you're gonna play it, you probably do it turn 1, but I'm not gonna. So I'm taking all this stuff out here. I'm taking my thwarting stuff out of here. I'll keep my Katana and my maximum effort, and then we'll see what we draw from there. Now we got some pool upgrades. Spend a fist resource and exhaust this card. So it's an upgrade to ready your hero. And you can do this every turn. You're not discarding it. Pretty good. Kid pool, so an acceleration icon, and the attacks gain piercing. That is also very nice. Cut upper instead of uppercut. 5 damage and stun the enemy. Yes, please, and thank you. And barely a scratch. That's a defensive card. A lot of these are good, but you know what? I need to get rid of this. So between Kid Pool and the Katana, I could do it. The problem is I can't afford both. I could do maximum effort. That'll get me some damage. So let's do that. I am going to, discard a card and search for a card called, it's like Burning It Up or something like that. Man, it's tough not to keep these cards. For this card, I think it's called This Card's on Fire, I believe. After your turn ends, if it's still in your hand, take +1 damage. Deal X damage to an enemy where X is the amount of damage you have sustained. I'm going to do this because I'm going to start with maximum effort, take an amount of damage up to your remaining hit points, and deal that amount of damage to the enemy. So I'm going to take 1, 2, 3, 4 damage to do 4 to Riptide over here. Bye-bye, Riptide. And then I think I'm just going to, you know what? I'm going to keep this card as on fire in my hand because I'm about to take more damage. I'm going to take another damage from that card. I may even die, but that's fine. We'll see. All right, I'm getting rid of my Katana. Getting rid of these 2 cards, and I'm going to put Kid Pool into play. It's nice to have allies, especially ones that don't take consequential damage, although adding accelerations, no bueno. But let's go ahead and attack with Kid Pool for 2, and then we're going to attack with Deadpool for another 2. So that's a total of 4 damage on the villain, and we are going to go from there. We are just a couple damage away from from flipping them already. Well, 6 damage, I guess. But let's go ahead and draw back up to our hand size. Ooh, another Katana, which is exactly what I was hoping for. Actually, oh my gosh, another maximum effort as well. Another barely a scratch defensive card, and it should be Chonga Truck. After an identity makes a basic recovery, exhaust the truck to ready that identity. Ooh, you can heal yourself and then ready? That seems super good. But let's go ahead and add 1 + 1 for our Kid Pool acceleration. Villain's going to attack us. We could have them get +2 attack or confuse. We'll give her +2 attack, so that's 3. We will block with Kid Pool. Ooh, bye shadows of the past. All right, that makes me very happy. So that would have been 5 damage, but Kid Pool took all of it. We're all good. Let's draw our encounter card, and the villain attacks you. Huh. Well, we're going to do that, and you know what? This time I am going to get confused. We'll just do it that way because I don't want to take 2 more damage. So that's 1 plus another 2 for a total of 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, if If I hadn't taken that confuse there, then I would have been, yeah, I would have been defeated, which would have flipped me over, added an acceleration token, all that stuff. But I didn't want that, so I am happier now. All right, well, I've got some damage dealing abilities here with this card is on fire. And you know what? I ended my turn with this card is on fire in my hand. I forgot to take that damage, so woo! That was a close one, actually. That could have been ended up much worse. All right, so let's go ahead and do our turn, though. Time for a little bit of payback. I am actually 8 health down here. So, yeah. You know what? Let's Deadpool it up. This is why you play Deadpool, right? Why not? No, I'm not gonna do that. All right, so I'm gonna just spend 1, 2, 3 to do this card is on fire, which does damage equal to the amount of health you're missing. So that's 8. So that defeats Arclight over here. So let's see what happens. When the villain would be defeated, reset the attached villain's hit points to full. All right, so that's 10. Bingo, bongo, bongo. Flip this card and reveal it. Permanent, villain gets plus 6 hit points. So up to 16. Advance the main scheme to stage 2A. This effect cannot be canceled. Right? We're going to do that. When revealed, each player searches the encounter deck and discard pile for a Marauder minion and puts the minion into play. Engage with them. You know what? I'm going to go with the exact same Marauder I started the game with in good old Riptide, even though I can't really defeat Riptide right now, so maybe that is a terrible idea. But that's what we're doing anyway. Give Marauder enemy the tough status card. Probably shouldn't have gotten rid of my katana, which does piercing damage. I actually think I got rid of both of them, so sometimes mistakes are made. Each Marauder minion gains guard and steady. In expert mode, the villain gains steady. So, same as before. If the player is defeated, the villains win. But again, I don't get defeated. I just get flipped and add an acceleration token. If this stage is completed, the players lose the game. So I am going to... I'd like to flip down. The problem is if I flip down, we're going to accelerate here quite a bit. But you know what? It still might be the right move. Oh, and by the way, Force Interrupt, when the villain would attack you, if the Marauder minion is engaged with you, she's going to scheme anyway. So actually, I'd only have to block this 1 damage, which I can do, obviously, with my base defense. But I want to do some massive damage. So I'm going to flip down. Before I flip down, I'm going to get rid of this confuse, just in case I need to. Then I'm going to flip down. I'm going to heal up. Nah, forget it. I'm keeping that confused. I'm flipping down, and I'm going to heal myself. I'm back up to 9 hit points. Boom, boom, boom. Maximum effort. Next time, we could do 9 damage, which seems real good. All right, let's go ahead and draw 5 cards. Oh, this card is on fire. My turn ended, so I do take 1 damage from this card's on fire. We got Headpool, which is a 2 thwart 1 attack. After Headpool attacks and damages the minion, that minion attacks another enemy of your choice. So we could have that minion attack the boss if we wanted to, which seems kind of fun. Get Good, reduce the cost to play Get Good by 2 if you did not win your previous game of Marvel Champions. Unfortunately, I did win mine. Force Interrupt, when a player would be defeated, they set their hit point dial to 1 and change to alter ego form instead. Remove this card from the game. All right, so this is an upgrade that gives you exactly what my ability is. Frenemies, team up Cable and Deadpool. Hero action thwart, deal 1 damage to each Cable and Deadpool, remove 3 threat from a scheme and 3 threat from a different scheme. So that is a 40 thwart one. All right, but that is the end of my turn. So let's go ahead and ready up, and we reset the threat track to 1. So we do have 2 acceleration on this. So that's 1, 2. Going to thwart for 2, or scheme for 2 plus 1 more. That's a total of 3. Oh my gosh, we're getting close to that 9 already. And then we got the minion over here thwarting for 1 more. That's not great. And then let's flip this up. Oh, it's a Nasty Boy who has teamwork with Nasty Boys. When Gorgeous George attacks you, exhaust a character you control. Yeah, none of this is going well. In case anyone was wondering, yeah, what you don't want to see is all of this in front of you before you take your turn. All right, let's go ahead and... Let me go ahead and discard Frenemies. I'm not going to use that. And let's search for an event card. All right, so I took the event card Exhausting Personality, which I can place an acceleration token on the main scheme to stun and confuse a villain, or I could exhaust a player's identity. That player draws a card. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put the acceleration token and go from there. And then I can get an extra resource for this card too. So that seems good. So place an acceleration token and stun and confuse the villain. Let's start there. So we're going to place an acceleration token up here and stun and confuse the villain. And then we got this resource here, generates 1 additional resource for each acceleration on the main scheme. So that's going to be a total of 2 resources. Yeah, well, I'm not going to do that yet. First things first, I'm going to do maximum effort. When I do maximum effort, I can take damage up to my health. So I am going to take, oops, got to flip over. I am going to take 1, 2, 3, 4 to get rid of Gorgeous George over here. Then I am going to attack over here. Now, what am I going to do about the threat? And Riptide has patrol, so I can't even do anything about that. That's not good. Actually, I may have just lost here because I can't do anything about this threat. I think I did, even though I stunned and confused. Well, let's see. We're going to do 1, 2, 3 to do this card's on fire and deal 4 damage over here. To get rid of that patroller. Yeah, putting patrol up there really hurt me because I could have put Headpool out and then had Headpool thwart. But even the 2 acceleration at the beginning, or the 1 acceleration plus 2, that's going to be 3 threat on the scheme right from the beginning. So yeah, I'm going to play this game all over. Okay, so let's draw up and play our first turn. We got Get Good. When a player would be defeated, set their hit points to 1, which is basically my special power, and remove this card from the game. Yeah, I don't need that. We got Exhaustive Personality. Place an acceleration token to stun and confuse a villain. That's not terrible for a first turn action or event. Yes, there's an acceleration token the rest of the game, but stunning and confusing that early. We got Pool Inspection, which removes 5 threat from the main scheme, ignoring the crisis icon. Remove a threat from each scheme for each of the other icons, or for each icon in play. Nope. Katana, that's a pretty good weapon. So restricted, you can exhaust it to take a damage, to deal 2 damage to an enemy. And it's piercing. That seems good. We got Lady Pool. When defeated, defeat a non-elite minion, which this is a non-elite minion, but no, don't think I'm doing that. And this is the Uppercut, which is Cut Upper. It got changed too. It's 5 damage to an enemy and stun the enemy. It's better than Exhaust Personality, but, well, it's only better because it does 5 damage, but it does cost 3, and this doesn't cost anything, so we're going to push our luck, which is what we do. I got this for each of the following icons in play. You get to do damage, remove threat, do whatever else. I could put every icon in play and do all of these effects, but then I've got all these icons in play, and then I got to remove 3 threat from this to get rid of it. Meta knowledge. When an encounter card is revealed, cancel all of its effects and discard it. Take 1 damage for each icon on the card's boost area. That is really good. I don't have a choice. And barely scratches a defensive card. All right, I'm going to discard this defensive card to search for a card in my deck. And I took maximum effort. Again, I can do this because discard a card from your hand, search your deck for a Deadpool event, and add it to your hand once per round. So maximum effort, again, take any amount of damage, deal equal amount of damage to an enemy. So I'm going to flip up. I'm going to go ahead and do this, taking 4 damage, 1, 2, 3, 4, to defeat Riptide over here. And then I am going to put my Katana into play. I'm going to hold on to meta knowledge. So I'm going to pay these 2 to put my Katana into play. I am going to exhaust my Katana, take a damage to do 2 damage here. I'm going to attack, doing another 2 damage here. And then exhausting personality, place an acceleration token on the main scheme to stun and confuse the villain. Seems like a good idea, so I don't die in half a second. So we got a stunned, and we got a confused on the villain. But we cannot forget to add the acceleration token. That's right, turn 1, I am already accelerating myself. That is Deadpool for you, though. I mean, you don't have to play like an idiot, but I am. All right. So I am readied up. I've drawn up. We're going to add 2 to the main scheme because of the acceleration token here. Arclight is stunned, so does not attack me this turn, so none of this other stuff is triggered. And then I take my encounter card, which is, oh my gosh, it is a weapon. It's a heavy armament attached to the enemy with the highest attack. Attached enemy gains Retaliate 2. Hero response, after you attack the attached enemy, spend 2 resources of the same type to discard this card. Whew. Yeah, I'm going to just deal with that. I could do this when an encounter card is revealed, cancel all of its effects and discard it. Take a damage for each icon, but then I'd be taking 3 damage, and I'm only taking 2 from the Retaliate. I'd have to pay 2 cards for this, so it actually saves me a damage to not meta knowledge, but boy, that is, ouch. Can we just say ouch? The good news is they're confused, so I could flip down pretty easily this turn, which feels like what I should do. Ready an ally. That ally gets +1 attack till the end of the phase. Don't have an ally. Got this. There's no icons on the board. Barely a scratch. There's nothing there. So yeah, this is kind of a dead hand here. So yep, let's go ahead and yeah, but then okay, yeah. All right, so I'm going to attack for 2. So that's 1, 2. And then I am going to again retaliate 2, 1, 2. And then after you attack the attached enemy, spend 2 resources of the same type. So I'm going to spend frenemies because don't need that right now. And I got this because there's no icons out right now. And then I am going to, I guess I flip down because they're confused. Well, first things first, I'm going to go ahead and take 1 damage to use my katana to do 2 more damage to them. And then I will flip down and hope for good things next turn. All right, so that's going to end my turn. I'm going to go ahead and discard these 2 cards, and I'm going to draw 5 more cards. Ooh, healing factor. Heals 2 at the beginning of the turn. Armed to the Teeth. After you play Armed to the Teeth, search your collection for a weapon upgrade from any aspect and attach it face down here. Now, this can lead to some cool tricks where you have weapons that have counters on them, where even as you use the counters, as long as you don't run out of counters, you put them back in this because the action is exhausted to swap it. So you can continually do this and keep that weapon with counters on it all the time, which is kind of neat. It ain't over. Attached to the main scheme, increase the target's threat value of the attached scheme by 2 for each acceleration icon on it. Oh, so that would help us survive this main scheme. Oh, this card is on fire. Okay, I just died because it's the end of my round. I take damage. And because I am not on my other side, I have no way to prevent that damage. So this is one of the dangers of being at 1 health with Deadpool, is you could die pretty quickly. So anyway, that's 2 quick games with Deadpool. And you've seen, not the easiest. I have won, ironically, I won my first 2 games with him. I lost both of these games, but you get a pretty good idea of what the cards are in his pool. You got to see a decent amount of them. You got to see him in action. Unfortunately, you've seen me play very poorly 2 games in a row, but hopefully I do better with X-23. Yeah, this scenario kicked my butt twice in a row, so it's not a Deadpool thing. It's a me thing. You know, what are you going to do? You can't win them all. All right, well, that first game didn't go according to plan, but let's see how we can do against Juggernaut, which is the 3rd scenario of the Next Evolution campaign using X-23. All right, so hefty villain here with 18 hit points to start with, but let's start with Unstoppable Juggernaut. Force interrupt. When this scheme would be completed, instead, do each of the following. Remove all threat from here. If Juggernaut is exposed as in play, you have to flip it. Place 1 momentum counter on Juggernaut. Juggernaut attacks each player in player order. So you're not going to lose from scheming out here, but Juggernaut's just going to smash you. And it says player, it doesn't say hero. Juggernaut has 2 attack. Juggernaut has +1 attack for each momentum counter. When revealed, place a momentum counter. So he starts with 1 momentum counter. So yeah, he's going to be attacking for 3 right from the beginning. Again, this is a scenario you can't lose theoretically to the scheme, but it is a scenario that Juggernaut will smash you and kill you. Permanent attached to Juggernaut. Juggernaut gains Stalwart, and his attacks gain Overkill. So you can't even chump to save yourself here. But as a hero action, you can spend 3 resources of the same type to remove each momentum counter from Juggernaut, and you get to flip this card. On this side, much better. They take an additional damage from each card played with a mental resource, and after Juggernaut schemes, you place a momentum counter here, and then you got to flip it over. So Juggernaut will not lose this, well, theoretically, until they scheme. So yeah, he's going to smash you, smash you, smash you. When you're so hurt, you really got to try to get rid of that helmet. So you're really looking for 3 of the same resource early. But let's talk a little bit about X-23. Setup, you put your claws into play. Action, you can shuffle either Honey Badger ally or Sisterly Bond event from your discard pile into your deck, and then you draw a card as an action. We'll talk about why that's important, because those cards are very key to her set. She's 2 thwart, 1 attack, 2 defense. Living Weapon, after X-23 takes any amount of damage, ready X-23. So she can actually use that defense to block 2. As long as she takes at least 1 damage, she gets to ready up again. So she gets kind of 2 free hit points every turn, if you think about it that way. Oh, by the way, we get Hope Summers in this scenario. We get her during setup. The first player controls Hope Summers. It does not count against your ally limit. And her thwart and attack are equal to your thwart and attack. And she does not take consequential damage. So just free extra damage and stuff. But if she leaves play, the players lose the game. So clearly don't want that to happen. But let's talk about some of X-23's cards. X-23's claws. Hero action, exhaust the claws and take 2 damage. X-23 gets +2 attack till the end of the round, which means your attack goes from 1 to 3. Guess what? So does Hope Summers. Let's talk about Honey Badger. After Honey Badger takes any amount of damage, you get to ready X-23, including consequential damage from attacking, whatever else. Good reason to have her in. The problem is she only has 2 life. We'll talk about how to get her back, though, and how to make her last a little bit longer. You got this Sisterhood support here. Exhaust Sisterhood and discard a X-23 card from your hand. Search your deck and discard pile for Honey Badger and add her to your hand. So again, more readying. You're taking damage to do more damage, and then you can ready. Lots of fun stuff. When so this is Sisterly Bond. When Honey Badger thwarts or attacks, add X-23's remaining power to Honey Badger's power for this use. So this 1/1 becomes better with this Sisterly Bond. You got Claw Mastery, hero action until the end of the round. X-23 gets +2 attack, and her attacks gain overkill as long as Honey Badger's in play. That and Sisterly Bond, really cool combo if you can get it. Punctured Wound. This is another fun one. Attached to an enemy that X-23 or Honey Badger attack this turn. Attached enemy gets -1 attack. And after the player phase begins, discard this and deal 3 damage to the enemy. So it's like they're bleeding out. We have another couple cool cards that come in her precon set. Well, we'll talk about them. Specialized Training. When defeated, each player who does not control a specialization upgrade chooses 1 set-aside specialization upgrade and puts it into play under their control. So you get these specialization upgrades that come in her set as well that are really only used for that. So stuff like +1 attack the rest of the game. After your hero performs a basic attack, exhaust it to draw a card. Seems good. They do the same thing for defense after you defend. They got another one for hit points and when you take damage, which would be great for me. You get to draw a card. And over here, thwarting and +1 thwart. And when you thwart, you get to draw a card when you do a basic thwart. So that's kind of neat. These player side schemes are becoming real fun with what they do. Here's another thing. Play only if there is a side scheme in the victory display. So this is a aggression event that comes in. Hero response. After you attack an enemy, stun it. So again, this is an event, but you have to have a side scheme in the victory in order to be able to pull it off. So some kind of fun stuff in her set, both her signature set as well as some of the neat new things they've added in her set. All right, let's go ahead and draw our 6 cards and see what we get. Mind you, I'm really trying to find 3 resources of the same type, so I may just hold on to these 3, not even care what they are, and discard them to get rid of this helmet here, because this is just brutal. I mean, +1 damage is no bueno. That's all I got to say about that. But let's see what I have to be getting rid of. Until the end of the round, X-23 gets +2 attack, and they get overkill as long as Honey Badger's in play, which Honey Badger wouldn't be in play. That one's not bad, obviously. The direct approach attached to a non-permanent side scheme. Attached side scheme gains assault, so I can use attack instead of thwart to thwart it down. Moment of triumph. After you attack and defeat an enemy, heal 1 damage. Nope. Not keeping that, but again, I might keep them because there are 3 of the same resources. We also got critical hit. Nope, there is no side scheme. I'm going to get rid of that because I only have 2 of those. Animal instincts. When X-23 makes a basic thwart, she gets plus thwart where X is equal to her attack. Don't need that at the beginning. Now I'm mad. Planetary players control max 1 per player. While your hero's remaining hit points are less than half of your starting hit points, you get plus 1 attack and minus 1 thwart. That's fun, but I don't want to decrease my thwarting this early in the game. Let's draw 3 more cards. We know these 3 can be used to get rid of that helmet. Let's see what we got. Ooh, Sisterly Bond. When Honey Badger thwarts or attacks, add X-23's matching power. Oh, this is just an event. Now I'm mad. And Sisterhood. There we go. Exhaust Sisterhood and discard an X-23 card from your hand. Search your deck and discard pile for a Honey Badger and add her to your hand. I am going to kind of do that in the fact that I'm going to play this card. 1, 2 to play Sisterhood. But I still want to use these 3 cards to get rid of this helmet. That helmet is just brutal in my experience, so I don't want that. I don't care about the plus 2 attack, honestly, because we're just getting plinking tough this turn and maybe thwarting to get rid of that 1. All right, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to flip over. If I take damage, I could take damage to get plus 2 to my attack. Yeah, maybe I do that. Let's do some fun stuff. All right, so first things first, I have 1, 2, 3 energy resources. Hero action, spend 3 resources of the same type, remove each momentum counter, and flip this card. So it's, again, Juggernaut takes an additional damage from any card with a mental resource. After Juggernaut schemes, place a momentum counter here, so don't let Juggernaut scheme is what we're saying here. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is attack for my 1, which gets rid of tough. Then I'm going to do this. Exhaust the claws, take 2 damage, plink plink, and I get plus 2 attack till the end of the round. I'm going to get ready myself. I'm going to attack for 3. 1, 2, 3. Then Hope Summers also gets to attack for 3. 1, 2, 3. That seemed good. The Sisterhood card I will hopefully get to use next turn to bring Honey Badger out, and then I'll get lots of extra attacks even. But for now, I'm going to ready up. I assume I only get 5 cards on this side. I do. Let's go from there. And keep them busy. It's an assault, which means you can use your attack instead of thwarting to get rid of the threat here. When defeated, the player who defeated this scheme removes 5 per player threat from the main scheme. So in solo it only costs 3. Now in anything more than solo, but it's 5 per player. So for 3 per player, you can remove 5 per player. Seems good. Moment of triumph, more of that. Pain tolerance. After you play an X-23 card, including this one, heal 1 damage from your identity, and that's an upgrade. Seems very useful. Heal 4 damage from your identity and Honey Badger. Seems good. Also, boom boom, boom boom boom. Named after me and my singing after when I play. 3 cost, 2 life, action, exhaust boom boom, add a boom counter to her. Then you may discard boom boom to deal 1 damage to each enemy for each boom counter on her. Tick, 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 tick. Very fun. All right, well, I am done. I'm going to add 1 over here. Juggernaut is going to attack me just for the 2. I'm going to go ahead and defend because I'm hoping to take 1 damage here. I took 3. That is more than 1. 1, 2, 3. But anytime I take damage, I ready myself, which is something, I guess. And then let's see what happens here. We got a side scheme. Hinder 2. So it's going to get 2 plus 2 per player. That's 4. Each copy of Creeping Willow gains Surge. All right. So Creeping Willow is a card in this deck, apparently. That's part of Black Tom Cassidy's encounter deck. We also are drawing an extra card each round. So, yeah, I want to get rid of that if I can, which I can. I can thwart for 2. Hope can thwart for 2. So we got some stuff going on here. So I'm going to pay 1, 2 to put in Pain Tolerance. And again, after you play an X-23 card, including this one, heal 1 damage from your identity. That seems good. We're going to pay 1 for this. Regenerative Longevity. Heal 4 damage from 1, 2, 3, 4, and then because of pain tolerance, I would heal one more, but 10 is my max, so that seems pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and thwart for 2, taking this down 2. Then I'm going to do this, exhaust your claws and take 2 damage. You know what? I should have done that first. I would have actually, before I played this card, I would have healed for 1 more because, again, I wasted this pain tolerance healing. I'm going to just pretend I'm not stupid and I did it in the right order and heal that 1 extra. So I get to do that. I get +2 attack and then I ready myself, but it doesn't matter because I'm just thwarting anyway. I'm going to do 2 thwart here. I do have 3 attack. Yeah, I'll just attack for 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. And that is the end of my turn. Let's go ahead and ready up and draw up. Come on, Honey Badger. There you are. There you are, Honey Badger. Nice. And I got some double resources also, although I got a lot of single cost stuff. So we'll see what happens. We are going to add 1 more threat to the main over here, and then we are going to have Juggernaut attack. Juggernaut attacks for 2. I am defending for 2. Juggernaut gets +1 more, and I am stunned. That's not great. So I am stunned. I do ready, though, because I took that 1 damage from that. And then let's see what our encounter card is. Our encounter card is a Creeping Willow, so good thing we got rid of that, or this would add Surge. It is Guard and Quick Strike. Force response after Creeping Willow attacks and damages a character. Stun that character. Well, I'm going to go ahead and take the 1 damage. I'm already stunned, so ha, Creeping Willow. Ha. Just gonna leave that out there. Ha. That's for you. All right, we do have 3 threat on that main scheme, which doesn't make me particularly happy, but again, it's just going to flip the helmet, which I don't like the helmet being flipped, so I'm going to try to avoid that at all costs. But that is the enemy turn. Let's go ahead and take my turn. And let's see. Grim Resolve. Exhaust this card, take a damage to generate a wild resource. Seems good. Claw Mastery. Until the end of the round, X-23 gets +2 attack, and her attack scheme overkill if Honey Badger is in play. That also seems good. So I'm going to go ahead and pay this to put in Grim Resolve, which heals me 1 because of pain tolerance. Then I am going to attack to get rid of the stunned. I'm going to pay 2 to put Honey Badger into play. And remember, after Honey Badger takes any amount of damage, I get to ready myself. So this is all about damaging stuff because Honey Badger is my aspect as well. I get to heal another one. I'm going to go ahead and exhaust this and take 2 damage. 1, 2. I do get +2 attack. So now I am up to 3 attack. We'll have Hope Summers go ahead and kill this Creeping Claw. That has 3 life over here. And no response from that. So I am at 3 attack now. And I'm going to go ahead and attack. You know what? No, I'm going to thwart for 2. 1, 2. And then Honey Badger is going to thwart for 1. Gets rid of that last one. But because Honey Badger took that consequential damage, after she takes any amount of damage, I get to ready myself. And then I'm going to play this Claw Mastery. Until the end of the round, I get +2 attack. And would have been overkill. All right. So mistakes were made, but it's fine. I'm going to go ahead and take a damage to generate a wild resource. So I'll take that damage. But I'm playing Claw Mastery, which gives me +2 attack. Because it's of my aspect, or because it's of my signature set, then I get to heal damage. So I'm going to heal that back up. I am at 5 attack now. 2 from my claws, 2 more from reading. So I'm at 5. I'm going to attack for all 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I messed up because if I had attacked here, I would have done 3 + 2 overkill. And then Hope Summers would have had 5 attack. I got a little ahead of myself. I'm doing the sequencing a little off right now, but it's still fun to kind of see what she does and see mistakes that can be made and hopefully try to avoid them. Oh, good. Endurance. I got 2 of those, +3 hit points. Like that. Claw Mastery, again, +2 attack till the end of the round with overkill. Gonna remember that this turn. Moment of Triumph. After you attack and defeat an enemy, heal 1 damage from your hero for each excess point of damage dealt. Again, really good with Claw Mastery, which gives me overkill. And Richter. Bum, bum, bum. So this is a 3 life, 1 thwart, 2 attack response. After Richter attacks, discard the top card of your deck, deal 1 damage to each minion engaged with you for each resource on the discarded card. So, yep. All of that seems good. I'm not using all of it, but it all seems good. All right, we're going to add 1 here. Gonna attack me for 2. I am defending. I am taking 1 damage, and I am stunned, which loves to stun me. What is going on with all this stunning? This stunning is stunning. Gotta be honest. All right, and then let's go ahead and take our encounter card, which is another Creeping Willow. So quick strike again. I take 1 more. When I took damage, I would have readied myself. I am not going to defend against this. No, I'm not going to defend. So I'll take 1 damage. I get stunned again, but it is what it is. Let me make sure that's right. Yeah, stun that character. All right, so I took 1 from the Creeping Willow, got stunned. That's fine. So that is the villain's turn. Let's go ahead and do my turn. I'm pretty hurt here. Till the end of the round, X-23 gets +2 attack, and her attacks gain overkill. So let's not forget this, and let's use this to our advantage this time. So I'm going to do this to get rid of stunned. Do this, take 2 damage, which readies me, because again, anytime I take, or once per phase when I take damage, I get readied. I'm going to do this to put in endurance, which gives me +3 hit points. Then I'm going to play Claw Mastery, paying with my other endurance to give me +2 attack. So now I'm up to 5 attack with overkill. You know what? We're going to use Hope to do the 5 damage to Juggernaut. We're going to advance the stage. Juggernaut gains +1 attack for each momentum counter here. I want to reveal, place a momentum counter here. If Juggernaut is exposed as in play, flip it. Otherwise, give Juggernaut tough. I would like to get rid of this again, but I can't. So, Stalwart and attacks gain overkill are the important things here. Yeah, it's not great. 21 life also on this side. Alright, so I'm going to attack and defeat this Willow here. So Willow takes 3 damage of the 5 that I do. We're going to do the 2 overkill over here. I got Honey Badger, but no real way to get Honey Badger back in my hand right now. Exhaust and take a damage to generate a wild resource. Yeah, alright, so we are going to attack with Honey Badger. Or we're going to thwart with Honey Badger to remove 1. Nah, we're going to attack to do 1 damage. Honey Badger goes away. I'm going to discard Richter. And then I'm going to go ahead and draw up to my hand size of 5. And I do have a couple of signature cards so I can get Honey Badger back for next turn. But let's hope I don't die in the meantime, because Juggernaut hits real hard, real super hard. So it's 3 + 1 damage with overkill. I can't block anyway, because if Hope dies, then I'm done for. So attacking for 4 damage, I am going to defend for 2. So it's 2 plus a boost of 3 is 5 damage. And I'm dead. I am dead. What is going on here today? This is not going well. So you've seen a lot of losing here today, both from X-23 and from Deadpool. 0 for 3. Who would have thought? Let's get to some final thoughts on these 2 heroes here. So final thoughts on these 2 heroes. I think they are both super fun. I know Deadpool's not going to be everybody's bag, similar to like Spider-Ham, who's a little bit more goofy. There's definitely some goofiness to Deadpool. Not as much as I thought, though. There's actually a lot more strategy to him. When I first saw his set, I wasn't excited, especially the pool stuff where you get like more icons in play. I know somebody like Terrence, who I played a lot of games with, would absolutely hate the amount of bad stuff he does to you, and obviously it can burn you. I did play 2 games with him before I streamed him and won both of those games. He does a lot of damage between that burn card, which obviously can burn you. The card is on fire, like that could definitely burn you. You saw it burn me in that second game. And usually it doesn't matter if you're on your non-alter ego side, but the problem is when you go to alter ego, then you don't have that regenerative property anymore. So that didn't save me there. But I do think Deadpool is going to be the more controversial of the 2 heroes, just because you're going to either love that like Star-Lord gameplay where it's like, you know, you're putting everything on the line and hopefully it all works out for you, but it could go very wrong as well. You know, the more damage you deal to yourself, the more damage you can do to the enemy. I've definitely done some really big damaging turns where you're doing, you know, 16 damage in a turn pretty easily, actually, just with those 2 cards, the this card's on fire and the one where you take damage. And you don't even have to start with them in your hand. That's the thing. You can discard any card to search for an event. So you can find the one of those 2 cards you don't have. And it's a pretty easily guaranteed 16 damage if you have at least one of those cards in your hand. Now, you're going to be sitting at 1 hit point. This card's on fire, draw away from, defeating yourself. Or if you flip over and take that gamble, then you could lose that way as well. So Deadpool, I'm actually having a lot more fun with than I thought I would, but I know he's going to be the more controversial of the 2, at least. I don't think everybody's going to like that game style. X-23 is just fun. The fact that you can get up to 5 damage pretty easily, 3 guaranteed, have that 1 thwart or that 1 damage attack do something, and then you get to exhaust your claws to hurt yourself, which lets you ready yourself. The fact that you get 2 free defense every round usually is enough to keep you alive. Maybe not against Juggernaut with his 4 attack with overkill and all that stuff, but usually that's enough to keep you alive. And if you take any amount of damage at all, you ready yourself so you still can attack or do whatever on the next round as well. So it's almost like a Quicksilver level of what Quicksilver wants to be, a level of speed. I guess it's what Quicksilver is late in the game, where you're defending every round, you're readying yourself still, and then you get to attack, plus you get to ready yourself and get a little bit more attack. Then if you have Honey Badger in play, then you get to ready yourself again. So if you have that 5 attack, you can do 5 attack, ready yourself, get 5 more attack, and it could be overkill and piercing if you get the right. I mean, it's just lots of fun stuff, lots of fun combos where you're doing stuff yourself. And if you could figure out a way to keep Honey Badger in play, I mean, we did have a card, we were about to get her back in play, where you discard any signature card you want to pick her up from the discard pile. So you can keep bringing Honey Badger back. The problem is the 1 attack, she only gets to do it once unless you get her something with more hit points. So Honey Badger's big weakness is not having enough hit points to really consistently ready you over and over. Although I guess if you attack with her the turn you play her, she's going to ready you there. You attack with her the next turn, she dies. You discard a signature card, bring her back to your hand, play her again that turn, attack with her again that turn. So you do get 2 attacks with her or 2 thwarts. And you're readying yourself. So I guess every other turn you can do it. Gets a little expensive at a cost of 3 cards out of your 5-card hand, though. To keep doing that over and over. So, I don't know. I've had a lot of fun with both of these heroes here. As far as the campaign, the Next Evolution campaign, you've seen 3 of the missions now. The first one you would have seen in my last videos. I can't remember. Maybe Wolverine or something. I played that first scenario. That's a multi-villain scenario. I really had fun with this Next Evolution campaign. And I think it's a very good addition. I think Terrence said it might be his favorite box. Certainly, I think he said it's his favorite campaign. So he likes the way the campaign is done. Yeah, I think it's really well done. This might be the next purchase. We always used to say Red Skull was an easy first purchase, and it still is, I think, the first purchase after the core set. An easy first purchase just because the scenarios are so familiar, they're so similar to what you were doing before. But I think this one doesn't have too high a level of complexity or difficulty, and I think it is a nice next step scenario box too. So if you like the X-Force, it's certainly not, I wouldn't hesitate to jump into it as a next step. And they do a good job here, and they did this in the last box too, of going from standard, which is pretty easy, although I say that after you saw me lose 3 games today. They do a pretty good job, though, of going from fairly straightforward, fairly easy, to when you go to expert mode, it really ramps up the difficulty. So I think there's a nice jump there, where early on it was like they were a lot closer together, standard and expert. Now I think that gap is widened, and so it makes a really good challenge for people who want that, but also for new players, it is a nice, easy way to play the game on standard scenario. Or if you want to come up with different challenges for yourself, you can do that on standard or expert as well. So I don't know, this Next Evolution set, I think the whole cycle has been really good. They've really fleshed out some things, with Angel being the 3-sided hero, down to just lots of neat stuff that they came up with for this. And these next 2 heroes, X-23 and Deadpool, are no different. I do think it'll be interesting to see whether that pool aspect gets fleshed out more or not. But even if it doesn't, there's plenty of cards in there that keep you entertained and interested. It just gives you something else to do. I don't know, it's a new way to revisit old heroes using this pool aspect. If they don't flesh it out anymore, though, I don't know that it'll be any more than a once-off, every once in a while, once in a blue moon. I want to try something different. So I'll be curious to see if they do ever add any cards to that aspect as we go forward. But both good purchases. Again, I think Deadpool's going to be more stylistic. Whether you like that or not, X-23 is just super fun. I think readying over and over is a lot of fun. If you could find other ways to boost your stats, it'll make her even more and more powerful and more interesting. I think there's definitely some interesting leadership builds in there where she can really beef up Honey Badger and herself. So I think that would be fun to explore. But I think even right out of the box, both of these heroes are super fun. I love what they're doing with these aspects and some of the different ways they're making these side quests more and more interesting, adding a full set of cards that you could upgrade yourself to if you complete one of these side quests. Just really makes things, I guess they're called player quests, not side quests. I think of them as side quests, but that's what they are. They're just a distraction, right? But I really do think it's fun, and they're doing some really neat things with them as well. So this whole cycle I think was knocked it out of the box. And again, these two heroes are no exception to that. So thanks for joining us again, and we will see you soon. Bye!